All right, moving right along to our next coach this morning, the head coach of the Kennesaw State Owls, Ryan Bohannon. Good morning, Coach.
Morning, Mark.
Owls begin year two, opening up at home for the first time on Saturday, hosting Tennessee at 7 o'clock. Can open up, talk about how the camp went, do some emerging stars that we may not have seen last year. Then we'll start taking questions, talk about
Well, obviously going into year two, I think the expectations of what camp was about has helped us a little bit. They kind of knew what to expect going in. And obviously right now everybody in the country is very, very much the same. They're tired of beating on each other. They're ready to go play somebody else. And we're ready to get to the gates and do that as well. So some guys that have we got a lot of starters coming back, but some guys that have shown up and done some good things on offense. Miles White, one of our slot backs, has had a really good camp. Excited about what he's doing. Obviously, a kid named Justin Sumter, people are familiar with in the Big South, but I'm expecting really great things out of him this year. And then Ryan Warrior, our offensive tackles, really had a good camp. Played for us a good bit last year, but it's really taken on a little more of a leadership role. I think defensively, obviously, we lost Mason Harris, and we got some guys at defensive end I'm excited about. Desmond Johnson, Denarius Fortress. We moved a redshirt freshman from tight end to defensive end, Kyle Aerosmith. So those are some guys I think that I'm excited to see how they respond in college football games, see how they go about their business. I think the strength of our defense is definitely going to be our secondary. That's where our two safeties, and we feel like that's probably the strength of our defense. The area that I'm hoping to be most improved in will be our special team. We've put a lot of time and effort and energy into getting better there. Obviously, getting more depth in our program helps that tremendously. So I'm excited to see how we've improved in the area of special teams. Jordan Genovese is our kicker right now. Christian Kinsley, true freshman, will be our punter. So I'm excited to see how much we've improved in that area, and we've put a lot of work into that.
All right, Coach. This time we'll start taking questions for Kennesaw State head coach Ryan Bohannon. To ask a question, press star one on your phone at any time, or click a link at the top of your browser. Click raise hand if you join us on the web. All questions come in. Coach, talk about your opponent for week one. Same opponent last year's opener, CSU. This time you've got them at home. Just what you've seen that might be the difference as well as overall.
Well, I mean, you look at their season, and they won 2 of their last 4 games. They're definitely growing as a program. They're getting better. They made some changes to their roster, especially defensively. They brought in several transfers. They got some guys that weren't playing a year ago that are playing now. It's the same on offense, not quite as much, but they're going to come in highly motivated. I mean, we had the opportunity to go up there, had some success on their debut at home. I'm sure they would love nothing better. If I'm Coach Torbush, I'm sure I'm communicating with the football team right now. They got opportunity to come to our place to do kind of what we did to them a year ago. So it's going to be a challenge for us, as is every week. And I think the big thing is every year is a new year. You know, what you did last year really doesn't matter. It's about what you do in the moment, what you do now. And we got to focus in and come ready to play.
All right, Coach, we do have some questions for you. First from Doug Robertson of the Journal Conference. Doug.
Hey, Coach. You're familiar with the adage that a football team makes the most improvement between week 1 and week 2. So I'm curious how much improvement you think you're going to make as a head coach between season 1 and season 2. What did you learn from last year, your first time as a head coach, you're going to apply it?
Well, Doug, there's a ton of things. I'm learning something every day, and I think I'll continue to do that. I think just the experience of being in that role on a daily basis, not only game day and the situations that come up, but just the day-to-day. You know, sometimes last year you were just taking it day by day and trying to find a way to make the right decisions for that moment. I think now I at least have a better idea of what's coming. One thing you do learn in this profession is it changes all the time, but I do have a better perspective on things. And a little better ability to have an idea what's coming to manage situations and get a feel for our football team. I think the most important thing as a head coach is get a feel for our football team, find ways to motivate our football team, find ways to get them ready to play each and every week. Something we struggled at last year. We came out of the gate playing really hard, and then about halfway through the season it fell off tremendously. And that's something I've made a concerted effort in the off season to come up with a plan for year 2 that we can finish strong, and that's why we've taken a kind of a 1-0 approach to things, that each week we're just trying to go 1-0, take care of business that week, then move to the next week, and see if we can finish a little better, you know, do things a little better, a little more consistent throughout the season. So that's probably the one thing as a coach, Doug, that I'm trying to do a better job of.
Was there any particular situation last year, whether in camp or during a practice of games, that truly surprised you had never experienced before?
There was a bunch. You know, we had a lot of close games last year, and a lot of critical situations where it was 4th down and should we kick a field goal, should we not? A lot of that stuff came up throughout the year. I always laugh, and it's kind of funny. You hear a lot of chatter on headsets till it's 4th and inches, and you got to make a decision on what to do, and then it becomes crickets all of a sudden. But I you know, and those things are, sometimes you just got to go in the moment. I think that kind of goes back to understanding what your football team can do and where their strengths are, and that helps you make those decisions. But that happened a bunch throughout the season, and I think the big thing is just managing the week to week for us and knowing what's coming a little bit as a program is going to help us tremendously, and hopefully we can apply it and finish a little bit better.
Did you lean on anybody this summer? Did you call any of the coaches and say, hey, this came up, how would you have handled this, or what's your experience and what can I learn?
Well, I think it's not as much the season, but I always lean on the guys that I worked with before, Coach Johnson, Coach Nehemiah, Coach Monken, all those guys that were, you know, that I've worked for. When specific situations come up, and I'm not 100% sure on how to go about handling it, I always pick up the phone. I've done that since the day I stepped foot on campus here with the new program. I'm not afraid to pick up the phone and call and ask. At the end of the day, I have to make a decision that's best for our football program, but I think to ask the question, to get perspective from people that have been through it, you'd be crazy not to, and I do it. But it's really specific situations.
Okay. Thank you.
Doug? And Coach, my final question for you, the one I've asked the others, just we're able to watch Charleston Southern go to state, what that outcome and the impact that had your program as well as
Well, I kind of echo what everybody else said. I mean, congrats to them. Congrats to Charleston Southern going out and representing the Big South. And I think it is something that people are starting to look at the Big South in maybe a little different light than they were before. And I think Charleston Southern kind of put an exclamation point on that. And so I think it's great for the conference. It's great for everybody involved. Congrats, Coach Chadwell. I know they'd like to win the game, but there's no question they went out and played their tails off and represented the Big South in a great way. And I think it's just awesome for the conference.
All right. Well, Coach, we're going to let